What's going on, guys? Sean Nalawani here. Wanted to get a little more personal today, do a different type of video, and explain the reason why I choose to stay natural and why I personally don't and never have taken steroids. Now, I'll separate this into two questions, which are why I don't use them now and why I didn't use them in the past, because they're actually two different reasons. So the reason I don't use them now is really simple, and that's just that I honestly have no desire at all to carry any more muscle or to be any bigger than I already am. I've been doing this fitness thing for a very long time now. I went through my bodybuilding phase back in the day where I literally wanted to be as huge and strong as possible, and I was basically obsessed with it. That lasted probably about 8 years, which I'll talk about shortly. But at this point, my mindset has changed a lot toward it, and I definitely prefer a more practical sort of athletic look. So a decent amount of muscle, but not too much, and a decent amount of, or a decent level of leanness, but also not too much. So at this stage, I'm honestly not preoccupied with the idea of having, a crazy physique. I train because I enjoy it and because it makes me feel good. I definitely like being in good shape physically, and I do want to look good, but my life does not revolve around fitness. I have other priorities now, and working out and eating properly is really just something that I do, but I don't really think too much about because it's just such an automatic ingrained habit for me. And once you develop the habit and you're happy with where you are, the whole thing pretty much becomes almost effortless. So I don't use steroids now for the very simple reason that I have no reason whatsoever to use them. I wouldn't even want the results that they would give me. Now, the second part of the question is why I didn't use steroids in the past, even though I did want to be as muscular as possible. So the simplest answer I could give is that I didn't use steroids because I was afraid of the psychological effects that they would probably have on me. So for the first maybe like 5 years of training, I didn't even consider the idea of steroids because I was really young at the time. I was making consistent gains, and so it just didn't even occur to me. But once I hit maybe 20 years old, by that point I had pretty much already come close to maxing out my genetic potential for carrying muscle naturally. I was maybe 195 pounds at that point. I'm 170 now. And I was working at a supplement store with all competitive bodybuilders who were all using gear, and the idea of possibly using it did cross my mind. I don't think I ever really truly considered doing it, and the main reason, again, was psychological. It wasn't so much the possible health effects, that was part of it, but it was mostly just that I was afraid of the body image issues that it would probably create, and I was afraid that if I started using steroids, I wouldn't be able to stop. If you're really heavily into bodybuilding and fitness for aesthetic purposes, especially if you compete, then you're already highly preoccupied with the physical appearance of your body. You're constantly analyzing your body fat levels, how big your muscles are, your symmetry, how your physique compares to other people, how it compares to how you looked in the past. And in my experience, going to the extreme with it, it just creates kind of a neurotic situation that takes away from your overall mental well-being. Not for everybody, but that's just been my experience. And the big challenge with it is that, just like with anything in life, you always get accustomed to whatever level you achieve with something. So whether it's with making money, material possessions, social status, your dating life, you always get used to a particular level, and then it stops bringing you satisfaction. And our brains are wired up this way to keep us striving for things. And in the case of bodybuilding, you'll always find yourself looking to the people with the physiques that are at the next level above you, and you'll use that as your new standard. And this cycle just goes on and on. So when you first start out at the gym, you just want to be in decent, healthy shape. And then you achieve that and you think, well, it'd be nice to carry more muscle. So you go ahead and you train hard and you put on maybe 10 pounds of muscle. And then you think, well, this looks good, but I'm still not that muscular. That guy over there is way bigger. I need to put on, say, 10 more pounds. So you do that, and then it's, all right, I don't look bad, but I'm still kind of small. Let's add another 10 pounds. So you do that. Then it's, well, yeah, I'm pretty big, but I'm so fat, so I need to lean down. So then you lose say 15 pounds of fat, but then you feel like you've lost size and you're too small, so now you want to maintain that level of leanness but get even bigger. So then you go add more size, but now you feel fat again, so you do another cutting phase, and this whole thing just goes on and on and on. Whatever level you get to becomes the new normal, and then you start to feel unhappy with that level and you want more. So this was the issue that I saw with steroids, and it's why I was basically afraid of taking them. I just felt that if I was to use steroids, I'd pack on all this new muscle, I'd be huge and shredded in a very short time and just feel like a monster. And if I experienced that once, how would I ever be able to go back to my natural physique? I'd have to keep pushing the envelope further and further to stay satisfied. And then eventually when I stopped using them, it would mess me up mentally to basically watch my body deflate, and that maybe I'd always be dissatisfied with my physique after that. And then coupling that with the fact that I had no plans of competing and that I already have a very analytical, sort of perfectionist attitude in general, it just all in all felt like a really risky path to go down. So that's basically it. I didn't use steroids because I felt that it was psychologically dangerous and it wasn't worth it. And I think this applies to a lot of other people as well. So if you're someone who is considering steroid use, don't just think about the physical health side, but also think about the mental side. I have no moral issues at all with steroid use as long as people don't lie about it to sell things. I'm fully in favor of the fact that people should be able to do whatever they want with their bodies, and surely there are people out there who do just fine using them, but the psychological side shouldn't be overlooked because I think it can be very dangerous for some people depending on their personality type. So steroid use is a decision that shouldn't be taken lightly. I think that for most people, unless you have aspirations of competing at a high level and bodybuilding is a central prime focus in your life, then staying natural is the smarter long-term route to take. That's just my opinion, but for the average person, I definitely think that steroid use probably ends up doing more harm than good in the long run. So that's all I wanted to say on that. Thanks for watching, guys. The official website is SeanNall.com. You can follow me on social media here. The links are in the description. You can check out my natural muscle building system, the Body Transformation Blueprint, by clicking here or by heading over to bodytransformationtruth.com using the link in the description box. And if you enjoyed the video, as always, make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to stay up to date on future videos. Talk to you guys again soon.